Mr. Bean, can you cut off the rock and roll? Yeah, let's put on some Christmas music. Let's. It's Christmas. Okay, I don't need to tell anymore. Let's put on Christmas music, okay? Yeah. The rock is great. The rock is great, but let's put on a little bit of Christmas music as we get ready to do this, okay? How about "Oh Come All Ye Faithful"? That's a good one. Yeah, let's do that. All right, let's get some lights on. Let's get some lights on. What a beautiful song. I don't know what the origin of the song Hark the Herald Angels Sing is, but one of my favorites. One of my favorites. So let me say some good mornings. Good morning to Emma, and good morning to my dear friend Mindy from the great state of Nevada. And let's see. Oh, you can't hear the music. Really? Weird. It was working great for a while where we could play music. So you couldn't hear the music at all then. Can you hear me right now? Is the audio working with the camera? Just give me a thumbs up or something if you can hear me. I'm not sure why you couldn't hear the music. Maybe I had it turned up too loud or something. I had it cranked up pretty loud. So but let me see if you're able to hear me. Hopefully you can hear me. Otherwise, this will be a silent unboxing. So I wonder why. I wonder why you can't hear the music again. That's so weird. Huh. Let me do it. Give me 1 second here. Let me try to do one more test. Okay, how about now? Can you hear me and can you hear the music? Oh, gumdrops. Okay. Well, I will shut the music off then. For a while, it was working. It was working nicely, where I could play the music and I could be talking at the same time. So for some reason, the camera has decided it wanted to be music free again. I don't know why. It's hard to say. So, but at any rate, I want to get into this unboxing so we can discover what kind of machine has been shipped from Bronx, New York. So if we have, I know that Emma is a former New Yorker. She's from the Brooklyn area, just like Bill O'Rourke. But if we have anyone that wants to do a little bit of impromptu research right now and type something interesting in the chat about Bronx, New York. I don't know a thing about Bronx. All of us have heard the name Bronx, New York, but I don't know anything about it. So if someone wants to post something in the live chat that folks that watch this later as a video can say, I didn't know that. I didn't know that about the Bronx, Bronx, New York. So if someone's willing to do that, that would be awesome because that would give you an opportunity to be a teacher for all of us and educate, or as my dad would say, edumacate us on Bronx, New York. Yeah, someone do that, would you? Someone type something in about Bronx, New York. That would be awesome. So, a couple of other housekeeping things, real quick. Couple other housekeeping things right now, and unless I go like this, you're just gonna see my chest down pretty much because I wanted to show you a couple of things. Now, most of you know that we did a contest. Okay, I'll crouch down. Most of you know that we did a contest recently where I asked folks that wanted to enter it to try to win a fully restored custom painted featherweight from the workshop. I asked them to write a creative story, a creative piece where they would incorporate some celebrities with it. We ended up getting 3 entries, not as many as we hoped. I know the judges and I hope we would get even more, but all we needed was 3 entries to get the contest to move forward. So the contest is moving forward. The judges have all of the creative writing pieces. So far, I've already gotten the votes from Veronica from Texas, and I've gotten the votes from Emma from Florida. So the other judges are still rereading the stories, and the other judges will chime in by Monday, December 12th at 12 noon Central Standard Time. So by 12 noon Central Standard Time this Monday, December 12th, we will finally know who's going to win that grand prize, which is a fully restored custom painted featherweight from the workshop. That's a heck of a gift for me to give away at Christmas time.
valued at right around $1,200 to $1,500. So someone is going to be a very, very happy winner at Christmas time. It's probably going to be one of the cooler gifts that they can say virtually is underneath the tree, that they're going to be able to sometime after the new year be able to anticipate that machine heading their way. And again, it was open to anyone in the world. So I mean, folks from around the globe could have chimed in and taken a swing at trying to win that featherweight. But along with that grand prize winner that's going to get the featherweight, there were some other cool things that a local friend of mine, Renee Manette, put together. And I'm going to throw in some of my pink grease and some other goodies as well. But I wanted to show these to you because I talked about them, but I didn't show them to you. So let me show you what those look like. This is called diamond art. Diamond art. And diamond art is basically tiny little beads. So there's literally hundreds and hundreds of beads that comprise this picture of this Singer sewing machine here. And Renee enjoys doing this. It's relaxing to her. And so she donated these to the contest so that when the judges and myself determine who the grand prize winner is, who the second runner-up is, who the third runner-up is, then they will be able to receive one of these really beautiful diamond art pieces that Renee did. And this one is already framed to kind of give you an idea of what the possibilities are for this. But imagine how much time it takes. Imagine how much time it takes when this image in front of you, this picture right here, is comprised of tiny little beads, probably, I can't even imagine, maybe like less than 1 millimeter by 1 millimeter. And each one of them has to be individually placed to create this beautiful tapestry of diamond art beads. So this is one of them. And I'm going to give, just out of respect for the grand prize winner, I'm going to give the grand prize winner the opportunity to pick the one that they want. This one is already framed. So if you pick one other than this as the grand prize winner, the second runner-up, or the third runner-up, then you'll have to get those other ones framed. This is one right here that grand prize winner might be able to pick first before the second runner-up gets their choice, and then lastly, the third runner-up gets their choice. And since we only have 3 entries, we're only going to have 3 of these that go out, obviously. So that's number 1. I'll just show that to you again. Really quite lovely, isn't it? All individual beads placed by hand. All right, this is the second one. You can kind of see how they look when they're not framed. So again, these are all individual beads that were put in place by Renee. That's quite lovely too, isn't it? Quite lovely. Amazing work. And I don't know, as patient as I am, placing tiny little beads to create this picture. And I kind of gave Renee a hard time saying, why did you refer to it as color by, or what is it? Color by, oh, what is that thing called? Paint by color. That's what it is. Or paint by number. Paint by number. I said, why would you call something like this that's so sophisticated and so intricate? Why would you call it paint by number? It's so much more than that. It's so much more. But you can imagine how many hours, lots and lots of hours it took her to create all of these. So this is another one of the choices that the winners of this contest, we're going to have 3 entries, 3 winners. That's kind of cool. So they're going to be able to pick this one potentially as well. And then the last one is, I'm going to get it orientated right. The last one, Renee didn't like this one, but I thought it was kind of pretty. It's a vintage machine, and it's got kind of a pink color to it. It's quite lovely, isn't it? Little flowers, and it's just a pretty little piece. So, but the 2 that are not framed, the second runner-up, third runner-up, we'll have to get those framed unless, who knows, maybe the grand prize winner will pick this one. I have no idea. So this is one of the options. That's another option right there. And again, these are all individual tiny little beads about 1 millimeter by 1 millimeter. Quite extraordinary, I think. Quite extraordinary. And then this is the third option that's already framed, which appears to be a Singer treadle machine. So I just wanted to show these to you since the contest is officially over. And over this weekend, the judges that have not already submitted their votes are going to be reviewing those three creative pieces that were submitted again, and they're going to be casting their vote for the grand prize winner, second runner-up, third runner-up. So we'll know by Monday at noon, which is kind of cool. That's kind of super cool. Monday by noon, we'll know who won that featherweight, and then who comes in second as the second runner-up, who comes in as the third runner-up. But I'll be honest with you, I expected more people to enter that contest because it's celebrity based. I mean, how often do you get to write a creative piece and incorporate up to 3 celebrities on your team? But apparently it was maybe a little bit too much work for some folks to take it on, or they were just busy doing other things. But as long as the contest went forward, that's all I was concerned about, because I really do want to give away that custom painted featherweight. I think it'll be a really cool Christmas gift for someone around the holidays. So, and I won't have it done by Christmas. It's not going to happen. I've got so many other machines I'm working on right now, but sometime after the first of the year, I'll get that machine custom painted down in the workshop. Once that grand prize winner tells me, I'll give them probably about 5, 6, 7 different color choices, what color they want that featherweight. And then I'll custom paint it, brand new decals, brand new clear coat. It's going to be a gorgeous machine. I mean, anyone that has it and takes it to like a quilting retreat, people are going to be going crazy. They're going to be going crazy. It's going to be a lovely, lovely machine. So, I mean, all the machines that leave the workshop are lovely. They just are. So, but anyway, let's shift our focus now. Now I've been blah, blah, blahing about the contest that just concluded, and now we're going to be picking a winner by Monday. 3 winners by Monday, I should say. Let's check out this container that came from Bronx, New York. But first of all, I'm going to give you some clues so you can try to guess what type of machine this might be in this tote that came all the way from New York. So, yeah. All right, let me give you some clues. First of all, I want to say good morning to Kathy Pecor. Kathy Pecor. I said hello to Emma and Mindy already. And I think those are the only folks that are in the live chat right now. All the other folks are sitting in the shadows, which is fine. They're sitting in the shadows, kind of chilling on a Saturday morning. And for those of you that are at this live stream right now, if you don't know it, my workshop is located in Oconto, Wisconsin. Oconto, Wisconsin is about 25 miles northeast, sort of Green Bay, Wisconsin, which is known for the Green Bay Packers. And you don't have to be a Packer fan, but most people have heard of the Green Bay Packers. And Kathy Pecor, who's in the live chat right now, is our previous grand prize winner for the last contest giveaway I did when we hit 12,000 subscribers. And she is one of the founding family members of the town that I'm in. The Pecors were instrumental in establishing what originally was called Frenchtown and then later became Oconto, Wisconsin. So Kathy Pecor, at least when she's around our town here in Oconto, is a little bit of a celebrity. She's a little bit of a celebrity. And again, when she came to the workshop to claim her grand prize, which was that really cool Class 15 replica to celebrate Singer's 170th anniversary, the mayor had the mayor wrote a beautiful note via email that I transcribed onto a frameable piece that she took home with her. And then she also got a coin for the city as well. And probably some other goodies. I don't remember all the goodies I gave Kathy, but she drove, I think, close to 200 miles so that she could be a part of that live stream when she was a grand prize winner. So who knows? Whoever wins the grand prize of this custom painted featherweight, maybe they'll decide to drive all the way to the workshop and be a part of that live stream when the official grand prize winner and the second runner-up, the third runner-up is announced. Probably sometime on Monday or Tuesday. It'll probably be on Tuesday because Mondays are generally not a good day to do a live stream. So I will know because the judges have to get their final votes in by Monday, December 12th at 12 noon Central Standard Time. So I'm going to know. I'm going to know by Monday who the grand prize winner is. And then I'll officially announce it in a live stream either Tuesday morning or Tuesday evening. Why don't we do this? Why don't we do this? Those of you that are in this live stream right now, you have power. You have power. I want you to vote right now in the chat. Type in the chat whether I should do the live stream announcing the grand prize winner, the second runner-up, the third runner-up of this contest that we just concluded, either on Tuesday morning or Tuesday evening. And we'll go with that because I love to involve all of you in decisions. So since you're here, you have power. It's just like when we were initiating this contest, I gave those folks that were in the live stream the power to decide what was the maximum number of celebrities that someone that entered this contest could pick. And the consensus was we were going to limit it to 3. And so that's what we did. So now you have more power to decide, do I announce the grand prize winner and the runner-ups on Tuesday morning or Tuesday evening? Morning versus evening. You decide. You have the power right now. So if you're in the shadows and you want to have a voice in this, step out into the live chat and type in the live chat morning or evening. And that's what we're going to do. Okay? Oh, yeah. Welcome to, it's either Misa or Mesa group. Mesa or Misa group. I'm going to say it both ways. Then I've got a fighting chance of being right. So far, it looks like the consensus is Tuesday morning. I'm going to wait a little bit and see if anyone else jumps in and types in, Tuesday evening versus Tuesday morning. And for our international VSM friends, either one works because if we do it in the morning, it's going to be their afternoon. If we do it at night in the evening, then it's going to be most likely going towards their morning. So it should work either way for our international friends. So Kevin and Doreen from the beautiful state of Iowa are going against the tide. They're saying, we're not going to do it in the morning. Let's do it in the evening. But I only see one evening vote so far, and the majority is going to rule. So if there's some other folks in the live chat in the shadows right now that want to step alongside Kevin and Doreen from Iowa and say, yeah, let's do it in the evening, maybe we can get a balance and maybe you'll prevail. But right now, I think we've got 3-1. I think it's 3-1. Emma, would you be my fact checker? I think we have 3 mornings right now, 3 morning votes and 1 evening vote. So go ahead and confirm that if you would, type it in the chat. That way you don't goof it up, because sometimes I'll peek at the live chat real quick and I'll miss something totally. And I'm like, oh, I got it wrong. So we'll see who prevails. I'll give it like another minute. I'll grab a quick drink of my Diet Coke, and then that's what we'll fly with. And if it's in the evening, it'll probably be like right around 7 p.m. Central Time. which is 8 p.m. Eastern. If it's in the morning, it'll be like around, like right now, it'll be around somewhere between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. Central Time Tuesday morning. So let's see what we have. Oh, okay. Like Arizona. So I think that's Mesa. Is that Mesa, Arizona, isn't it? I don't know a lot about Arizona. I know that there's what is it? A Surprise, Arizona. There's a Scottsdale, Arizona. I think it's Mesa, isn't it? Mesa, Arizona. You can let me know if I'm saying it right. I think it's Mesa. I hope I'm saying it right. Mesa, Arizona, I believe. So yes, Mesa, Arizona. And I don't know a thing about Mesa, Arizona. But I know that a lot of people that don't end up when they retire, if they don't move to Florida, they oftentimes will move to Arizona because it's a warm, dry climate. And I guess it gets pretty hot out there too, doesn't it? It gets really hot. So, people that like to heat, people that don't want to deal with snow, and it's actually snowing today in Oconto. I actually shot a little video clip and I shot it to Emma real quick, who's down in Naples, Florida. I said, guess what? It's snowing. And I think I sang a little, Emma, didn't I sing a quick little song of it's beginning to look a lot? No, I sing it lower. I'll sing it lower. Let me see. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Every da, da, da. Yeah. All right. Okay, so it's going to be morning. Emma just typed it in there officially. She's my fact checker. And Emma typed in there, we got 3 votes for morning, 1 vote for evening. So the grand prize winner that's going to get that custom painted featherweight, and the second runner-ups and the third runner-ups that are going to get, along with the grand prize winner, a choice, their choice, grand prize winner first, second runner-up next, third runner-up last. They're going to get their choice of that beautiful diamond art that Renee Manette did as well. And she's a local Oconto gal that did that all by hand. Can you imagine again that diamond art, just putting those tiny little beads in one by 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 one. And then finally you get a beautiful picture like this. If you join the live stream a little bit late, can you understand what I'm saying? You can't understand what I'm saying, can you? If you join the live stream a little bit late, Renee donated 3 of these beautiful diamond art pieces. They're created by tiny little beads that are inserted into this tapestry. And they're all different colors, obviously. So you can create a beautiful, frameable, lovely piece like this. And I showed them at the beginning of the live stream. If you missed it, you can rewind at the end of the live stream. But the grand prizer will get the grand prize winner will get the first choice of one of these 3. Then the second runner-up and then the third runner-up will get their final choice of which one they're going to pick. So it's really a beautiful addition to this contest that Renee was generous enough and kind enough to donate, which is really neat. All right. Early morning sing-along. I think I was the only one that sang, Emma, but whatever. All right. So let's do this. Let's start to get into this, but I will give you some clues first. Yes. Let me give you some clues first. Okay. So some of the clues on what might be in this container. This sewing machine company that made this machine that came from Bronx, New York, they actually have roots that go all the way back to the 1600s. Now, Singer is oftentimes raised up, and people bow to Singer and they say, Singer is the oldest sewing machine company ever. They were established around 1851. But this company has roots going back almost 200 years further than Singer that made the machine in this particular case. Yes, they did. So the other thing about this particular machine manufacturer is they came about because of a king's decree. And if you don't know what decree is, don't feel bad. I didn't either. I had to Google it. But it's basically a king giving an order or giving a declaration that something's going to happen. And when a king gives a declaration that something's going to happen, guess what? It happens. So those are the roots of it. And they, for the longest time, were making guns. They were like a lot of companies. If you didn't know it, Singer made guns too. As a matter of fact, the Singer guns that were made are some of the most collectible guns in the world. But this company was making guns much earlier than Singer. And they made them for quite a long time. And then eventually around 1872, they started making sewing machines. I'm giving you so many great clues. So many great clues. You probably know because you guys are really smart. I'm going to look at the chat. Well, Emma, you're my ace in the place. Emma's exactly right. Husqvarna, and it's not Husqvarna, it's Husqvarna. How do I know this? I've been watching videos, okay? So, yeah, if you're out and about and someone says, "Hey, I've got a Husqvarna," you can say, "No, you don't." "Yes, I do." "No, you don't. You have a Husqvarna." So Husqvarna was originally established back in the 1600s, but they weren't making sewing machines then. They didn't start making them until around 1872. Does anyone know? Other than Emma, does anyone know what the first sewing machine Husqvarna made was? What did they call it? What did they call that first sewing machine that would have rolled out right around 1872? Type it in the chat if you would. Yeah, they do make very good chainsaws. Our friend from Arizona is saying they make great chainsaws. They also make great rideable lawnmowers as well. Husqvarna makes a lot of great products even today. And when you go out there and you look at them side by side with Lawn Boys or Snappers or any of the other competitive brands, they're always commanding the highest price because even today, the Husqvarna products are made really, really well. You know, they haven't gone cheapy sides like a lot of the manufacturers. They still make a really, really good product. I'm just pausing for a second to see if anyone wants to try to guess the name of the first sewing machine that Husqvarna rolled out in 1872. Hey, excuse me. Welcome to Christine that just popped into the live chat. If you don't know it, over the last couple of days, almost a week now, Christine was battling a horrible cold up in Canada. That's where Christine is from. Christine is one of my leadership team members and also helps me manage things with Bill on Facebook as well. She's been really sick. She can share details if she wants, but she says, I can't remember the last time I was this sick. And some of our medical people have been warning me because I know I go out to the local restaurants. I'm a very engaging person. I talk to everybody that I meet. I get, face to face with them. And a lot of the medical people have been cautioning me that COVID is not the biggest danger right now. I've got a little bit of a frog in my throat. COVID is not the biggest danger right now. There are some very serious flu strains that are hitting all over the country right now. Emma, I think you told me about that. Emma works as a pharmacist in Florida. And she said, Scott, be careful. Be careful. We're getting people flooding the hospitals down in Florida with these strains of flu that are in some ways even more of a threat than COVID. So Christine has had some sort of a bug that's been trying to kick her behind up there in Canada. And by her joining the live stream today, I'm encouraged. I hope she's doing better. So Christine, are you doing better? I hope you're doing better. It's not COVID. Yeah. So, welcome to Robin as well. Welcome to Robin. Robin just kind of popped in to the live chat, which is awesome. Yes, and Robin is right. Robin is absolutely spot on. The Northern Star was the very first sewing machine that Husqvarna back in 1872. And again, they didn't just come on the scene in 1872. Their roots go all the way back to the 1600s. So, where Elna and Singer and others will puff up and go, our roots go deeper than any other sewing machine company in the world. No, they don't. No, they don't. Husqvarna goes back almost 200 years further. And Robin is exactly right. The Northern Star was the very first machine. And some of the neat things, I'll just kind of read my notes here real quick so I get it right. Some of the interesting things about the Northern Star is that, let's see here. It was one of the first machines that could really do a really super duper job of sewing a really nice straight stitch line. It was also gear driven, and it was smaller and was using an oscillating bobbin as well. So, and the sewing machine, they advertised it as the sewing machine for families and for craftsmen. Now we would say crafts people. So it was the people's machine that the Husqvarna Sewing Machine Company in 1872 rolled out and said, this is for the people. This is for the people. And it right away, people went nuts about it. It was a fabulous machine. And then they also came out with the Frisia as well, the Frisia after that. And they just kept building and building and building and building. And eventually around 1947, they added their very first zigzag sewing machine right around 1947. Christine is right. If you during a live stream, if I throw a question at you or something like that and you Google it or you looked it up, that is just using resources, isn't it? It's like writing a paper when you're in school. You even have to, in your bibliography or whatever that thing in the back is called, where you list all your resources, you have to list all your resources. Did you go to the Encyclopedia Britannica? Did you go to a certain website? And you have to list all those resources. And good students and fellow teachers, which is all of you, you use resources. It's the wise thing to do. Just like me during these live streams, instead of relying just on my memory, because I have so many things in my head right now with all the machines that I'm restoring and working on, I use an open screen with some notes that I type in preparation for a live stream. And just like I did a second ago, I'll go back and refer to those so that I don't put out bad information. That's the whole thing about our classroom here is we want to be the ambassadors that go out into the world, whether we're in Canada like Christine, or whether we're like Christine, our other Christina, that's over in Brazil, or our friend Dr. T that's over in Finland. We have folks all around the world that join these live streams regularly, and we want them to go out armed with information and knowledge that they can pass on to other people confidently, knowing that it's correct. Because here's the reality, folks, when you go to Facebook, when you go to Etsy, when you go to a lot of these other resources, folks will post stuff sometimes that just is not correct. It's not right. And so we have to go out there as ambassadors from this channel and set people straight. So Robin is, in my opinion, Robin is brilliant. And Christine echoes that as well as one of my leaders, saying, don't apologize for using a resource. Use a resource. But like Ronald Reagan said all the time, trust but what? Type the word in the live chat. Ronald Reagan said, when it comes to information that we get, whether it's from the Russians or from other sources like Google and Etsy and Facebook, we should trust, but we should also what? Type a word in the live chat. I've told you guys this before. Oh, welcome back to the Outboard Tinker. Welcome back to the Outboard Tinker. And I don't remember where the Outboard Tinker is from, maybe from Wisconsin. But the Outboard Tinker has been on the channel before, so it's good to have you back again. I don't think we've seen you for a while. So, but one of the moderators, if you've been gone for a while and then all of a sudden you show up again, so you don't have to go to summer school, you can reach out to Christine or Emma or one of the other leaders that has a wrench in front of their name and say, please excuse the fact that I've been gone for a while, and they will grant you a pass so that you don't have to go to summer school. Who wants to go to summer school? I mean, really, right? Yeah. Who wants to go? Yes. So Emma is correct again. Emma is a great student and fellow teacher. Ronald Reagan was best known for saying, trust but verify. And I also encourage all of you on this channel as well. If I say something like, oh, by the way, the Husqvarna sewing machine company made their first sewing machine in 1872, and then you go and you do some digging and you find out that that's not correct, then I want you to circle back to me or to reach out to one of the leaders and say, Scott got it wrong in that live stream. He said something about something and he wasn't correct, because I went out there and I did my fact checking and I'm pretty sure that he got it wrong. I don't always get it right, but I try to prepare for these live streams. And then I also have my little sheet open on the laptop as well. And I will refer back to facts so that I don't just go from my memory. So I'm more likely to get it right. But it is 1872, by the way. That is when they rolled out the Northern Star, the very first sewing machine, just like Robin said. But when you are out there as ambassadors for this channel, make sure that you are, stepping out there, rubbing elbows and shoulders with other folks. But if they start to say something and it doesn't ring true in your head, dig into it, trust it initially, but then verify it. And if you find out that it's wrong, let them know that. Because I know that even my good friend Alex Askaroff, who's been doing or associated with sewing machines since his family owned a factory and he was just knee high to a grasshopper, Alex has had to correct things on his site before. And one of the things he corrected was because of me. It was because of me. I reached out to him and I said, Alex, you encouraged me after I interviewed you on my channel. And if you didn't know it, I interviewed Alex Askaroff on this channel. And you can go to the playlist that says VIP interviews and listen to that whole interview that I did with Alex, with him in his workshop and also in his office. And it was a beautiful interview. I got so many great notes from folks over in the UK and Australia and the US and everywhere. They said, oh my gosh, when are you going to interview Alex again? You guys were so good together. And but the reality is, even Alex, having been in the business long before I was, he gets it wrong sometimes. On his Sew-A-Lot site, he had posted, I believe it was about the 201-2, and he said it was first established around 1932. That's not correct. It was 1935. There was another sewing machine established in 1932 by Singer. Does anyone know what it was? I call it the little brother to the 201-2. There's a big clue. But Alex said he didn't get cocky or defensive or anything like that and say, who are you to tell me? I'm Alex Askeroff. I'm a published author and blah, 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 blah. Alex and his wife, Yana, are the most beautiful people I've ever met. And I haven't met them yet, but I hope to. But I've met them virtually. And Alex right away said, Scott, thank you so much for making me aware of that. And he changed it on his Sew-A-Lot site to 1935. But I'm going to look at the chat, see if anyone knows what machine did Singer make in 1932. And, it's an honest mistake. And I was glad to be able to help out Alex in that respect and get that fact correct on his site. No one's guessing? No one knows? It's not that. Is it a tricky question? It may be a tricky question. It could be a tricky question. But there was another Singer machine established in 1932. Yeah, there was. It's got a potted motor. It's 3/4 size instead of full size. Come on, you guys. I'm giving you the store. I gave you the store and the keys. I gave you all the clues that I can give you. Almost. Christine is not on the ball today. Why would you be on the ball, for goodness sakes? You've been sicker than a dog. Where did that saying come from, by the way? I wonder where that saying came from. Sicker than a dog. Why not sicker than a squirrel? Why not sicker than a bird? Why not sicker than a cat? Why did they pick on dogs about being sick? That's just not fair. Because you guys know Hank. Hank would take offense to that. He might even contact PETA and say, why are they picking on us and coming up with a phrase like sicker than a dog? Now, don't. Sick, let's change it to something else. How about sicker than a horse? No, Christine up in Canada loves horses. If we start saying sicker than a horse, I'm going to get nasty notes from Christine, probably in the middle of the night. Yeah. And these are great guesses. It's not the Singer 101. The Singer 101 was actually earlier than the 201-2. As a matter of fact, the Singer 101, and there were several different subclasses of the Singer 101, which also has a strange-looking potted motor on the back of it. Would someone like to see what a Singer 101 looks like? Type in the chat, yes, no, maybe so. If you want to, I'll grab one real quick off camera, and I'll bring it into the shot so you can see what a Singer 101 looks like. But that's a great guess. It's a super duper guess. And the cool thing about the Singer 101 is it was one of the first ones that came up with an auto lubrication system that was underneath the bed. The whole bed of the 101 comes off for easier servicing, so you don't have to rotate the machine back. And then there's what looks like spider legs inside that allows you to oil this one little cup, and then the oil wicks out through all these little spider legs to the critical lubrication points of the 101. It was innovative, an innovative machine when it first came out. No, Kathy Pecor. Go with your answer. Because the 1591 is a 3/4 size machine. It's not a full size machine. If you put a 1591 next to a 201-2, it dwarfs it, because the 201-2 is a full scale machine. The 1591, similar to the 99K, the Spartan, is going to be a much smaller scale machine. So Kathy, go with your answer. Don't doubt yourself. Let me grab that 101 real quick. It got lucky. I have my glasses. I have my glasses in my mouth, so you couldn't understand. I said it got really dusty sitting on the ground down in the workshop. So this over here, if you can see it in the shot, this is a Singer 101. And again, they had a number of different subclasses. This particular one is a Singer 101-4. And again, this entire bed right here, if you've never seen one of these before, there's basically 4 bolts that hold this bed on, and then you can lift this entire bed off so you can service the machine from the top, which was really a huge innovation then. And you can see as well, they also had a slightly different style potted motor on the back of here. And the potted motor on the 101 is going to be a little bit bigger than the 201-2. But again, as they improve the wraps and the technology and the engineering of the motors, a motor that might be rated a little bit lower might still have more power output. So even though this is rated a little bit higher as far as amperage, it's not going to necessarily have the same power of a 201-2. And you just, to take off the motor cover, it's a lot easier to do it than on the 201-2. The 201-2, you've got to take out 2 little screws, and then you can pull the cover off. This one, you just twist it, and then all of a sudden you can see the motor. And there's a bolt on the opposite side. I've actually introduced this machine before on the channel. If you want to go to the little hourglass, or not hourglass, the little magnify glass on the front of the channel and type in Singer 101, you'll be able to see some videos where I actually sewed on this for one of the customers out in Washington State. But there's a bolt on the front that holds this motor. You loosen that bolt, take that bolt out on the front, and then this whole motor pulls out, so you can service the pitman arm and you can service other parts of the machine very, very nicely and very, very easily. There we go. Kind of got it back in. So anyway, this is a 101. If you've never seen a 101 before, has a beautiful, beautiful look to it. I think it's quite lovely. And it's also quite heavy as well. Now, the difference between the 101 and the 201, the 201-2 has the 2 pedestal feet on the bottom. You've seen the Rolls-Royce of Singers many, many times on this channel. So with those pedestal feet on the bottom of the 201-2, it can set on a table or it can set, on a flat surface absolutely fine. You can't do it with this machine. This machine has a barrel type design on the bottom. You see that? Along with all the, oh my goodness, Hank has been down here. Hank, what did you do? Hank sometimes comes down to the workshop and he sheds a lot. He does. And it gets on the machine down here. So anyway, you can see this doesn't really have an ideal surface for sewing on. It wouldn't be real stable. So a 101 typically has to get put into a case or get put into a table. It would be the best way to operate a machine like this. So it was quite lovely, quite a lovely machine. And again, I presented this on the channel before if you want to check out those videos. So I'm going to set this to the side real quick. All right, let me look at the chat real quick to see if I need to catch up on anything. Oh, and good morning. Good morning to Michelle as well. Good morning to Michelle, and Michelle is Alvarez Guard 78. Alvarez Guard 78. She's showing up as orange in the live chat. And I'm sorry to, hospice is a great thing. Michelle shared that her mom went on hospice today. And Michelle, yeah. I was trying to remember if I copied Michelle on. I copied Michelle on the essays, and yes, I did. I was trying to think real quick. Did I remember? Because Michelle has been away for a while taking care of her mom, and her mom is on hospice now. She just shared that in the live chat. And being a former healthcare administrator, I have the greatest respect for the hospice workers. They have something called palliative care, where they provide a lot of TLC, a lot of support, a lot of comfort, based in dignity, for folks that are on hospice. So it's a wonderful program. It's a wonderful program. If you don't know a thing about hospice, it really is a wonderful alternative to when they typically would throw folks into skilled nursing, a very restrictive environment. And now palliative care, oftentimes based in the home, is a wonderful alternative to that. So, but at any rate, Michelle, it's so great to see you. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you end up voting on as far as the essays that I sent to you, the 3 essays for the contest. So, oh, good. Okay, good. Okay. All right. So I've been blah, blah, blahing now for almost an hour, which those of you that have been following me for a really long time, you're like, Scott, you can blah, blah, blah about anything for an hour. And that's true. But I'm going to start to transition now. I've got a number of leaders. I've got Michelle. I've got Christine. I've got Emma. And if I missed any of the other leaders, forgive me. I didn't see any of the other leaders in the live chat. But I've got 3 of these wonderful ladies right now that will take care of all of you and be there as a resource, answer questions, and just make you feel welcome. So I'm going to finally get myself over to the table here and start digging into this tote that came from Bronx, New York. And if I never circled back to it, because Emma says, Scott, you'll sometimes ask a question, but then you'll forget and you'll move forward and you'll be talking about something else. So the machine was from 1932, the 1591, and it came out in 1932. And then three years later, in 1935, the 201-2 came onto the scene. So all of that blah, 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 if you just joined the live stream, was to say that Alex Askarov had posted on his Solot site the wrong date for the 201-2. And he and I talked, and then he changed it. So I think that's how that all tied together. I have no idea. But at any rate, I'm turning it over, the live chat, now to the leaders that are present, Michelle, Christine, and Emma. And I'm going to get opening up on this box over here, okay? So again, this came from Christopher Lockett. Christopher Lockett. That's kind of a cool name, isn't it? Christopher Lockett from Bronx, New York. And I'm just going to real quick look at my notes and see if there's anything else that I need to share about this. I don't see any specific notes. Sometimes a customer will include a note and kind of talk about the provenance of the machine and details of the machine and that. I don't see that here for Christopher. But I know that Christopher is very excited to get this machine moving forward because he wants to put it to work and put it under some pretty heavy projects. So the sooner I get it unboxed, the sooner it can get in that long line of machines waiting, and the sooner I can get it eventually on the workbench. So let's get into this and see what we find. And I was a little bit surprised. I'll just, as you look at the container, I was a little bit surprised that it's only being held down by tape coming off the edges as you go around the container. And I'm just shocked. I'm shocked that the tape didn't break coming all the way from New York. But maybe it's like super duper tape or something. I don't know. But I was really kind of surprised. Yeah, just tape there. Tape there. tape here, tape there, tape there, a little bit of tape there, a little bit of tape there. All right, I think I got, nope, I didn't get them all. One more. Tape there. And I got that one already. All right, so with that, we can get the lid off and get our first glimpse of what this machine looks like. Well, at least the case. We can't see the machine yet. And it looks like, as far as the packing, it looks like we've got some bubble wrap on top, kind of covering the case. And the clues I gave were, I think it was Emma that guessed Husqvarna. Based on the case that we're seeing, it definitely looks like a Husqvarna case. And these types of cases were used most commonly with the Class 21 Husqvarnas that came out in the late 1940s, early 1950s. And so in all likelihood, we have a Class 21 type machine in there. But we won't know until I get it out of here, get all this bubble wrap pulled out, and then we can get this case opened and see what we have inside. Okay, so let me set the camera back down and start pulling this stuff out. And if you ever have one of these cases, you'll notice that this side on the back is wider. This is more narrow. When you open the case up, you want to have the more narrow portion facing towards you. That's the front of the case. And I only say that because sometimes when you look at a case like this, you're going to look at it with the clasps almost like a suitcase, and the clasps are coming down like this. And you would assume that I could close this again, but I can't. You would assume when the clasps are like this, that this would somehow be the front of the machine, or we would open it like this, like a suitcase, kind of like this. But with these Husqvarna cases, you want to face that narrower end towards you, because then when you open it up, the machine should be upright. Although, if you guys remember, one time, I ended up getting one of these Husqvarnas into the workshop, and I positioned it just like this, and I opened it up, and the machine was upside down in the case. I'm not making that up. Emma and others that have been following the channel a long time can testify to that. Someone had put it in there. They didn't know any better, and they stuck the machine in upside down. So I hope Christopher didn't do that. I hope so. So here we've got our machine, finally. Look at that. And if you're seeing on the camera that it's kind of almost like a cool looking green color, you're absolutely right. It's a green type stretch wrap or bubble wrap. I never knew until some of the customers started shipping machines in. I never knew that they made stretch wrap and they made bubble wrap in different colors. All I've ever had is plain white bubble wrap. I need to get out more. I just do. So here we have that beautiful, well, it was beautiful at one time. Now it's kind of got some, wow. Christopher, what did you do? Jiminy Crickets, my friend. That is a deep scratch in there into the patina of the bed. I don't know if you can see that or not. Almost like a child had a paper clip or something like that. A child had a paper clip and said, "Oh, Uncle Christopher, what'll happen if I do this? What'll happen if I do this, huh?" So yeah, that's just an awful. I mean, you see some of them that are scratched up. They got little dings. but that's all the way down to the bare metal right there. All the way down to the bare metal. Ouch, ouch. And then on the bottom here, I always check these springs. This is what latches to the machine. That's working very, very nicely. And this is a service point as well. If you own a Swedish Beauty, as I call them, and you have an extension bed like this, make sure that periodically you're putting just a little drop of oil on here so that this spring mechanism that allows you to attach and detach the bed from the sewing machine stays nice and free. You'll sometimes find these and they're just frozen. They're just frozen in time, and a little bit of oil will keep this moving very, very nicely. And then this is the support leg right here, and it's not uncommon. There's a little rubber tip usually on here. It looks almost like a pencil eraser, and this one is missing. So if you set this up on a table like this, you want to be very careful that you don't scratch the table with this raw metal on the bottom. And there are solutions in the workshop where I can put another rubber boot on there so that it's going to give a nice, stable, smooth surface. It's not going to scratch a table. And also it's going to reduce the vibration. Right now, if we try using this extension bed the way it is, with that metal against a surface, it's going to be vibrating when we're sewing, which is, it's not pleasant to be vibrating when you're sewing. It just isn't. So I'll have to take care of that for Christopher so that this table is able to be used without any issues. Yeah, but these extension tables are so nice. They expand your sewing surface and your sewing area just dramatically from what you would have otherwise. So these are super. All right, let's get this machine out. See if we can start to discover what we have in there. Now, this is a little bit of a concern. Oh, you know what? I bet you I know what that is. Remember I just showed you the extension bed and it's missing that little eraser rubber boot that gives that support leg a nice, smooth, kind of a stable but a soft surface to sit on? I think it's in the bottom of the case. I think it is. It kind of looks like it. I'm guessing that that's what that is. And that's the reality with rubber and with certain types of plastic. Over time, they dry out and they get brittle. Almost like what we saw recently with that restore that I did for Trish and her 12K, where the bottom base that came from Alex Askaroff's workshop, the glue dried up, it got brittle, and then that base gave way and the machine crashed to the ground. The same thing can happen to certain rubbers and certain types of plastics as well. And that's kind of what we have going on here. So, yeah, stuff just doesn't last forever, does it? Nope, it doesn't. Not even when it's made to a vintage quality standard. It still can wear out. All right, let me move this to the side and we'll get this machine pulled out of this wrapping. All right, I think this is the front. Kind of looks like the front. Yep, that should be the front right here. There we go. All right, I'm just going to start pulling this tape off. Where's my scissors? See if we can get into this and see what we have. So as I'm starting to take this out, assuming that this is a class 21 Husqvarna Viking, maybe it's a, who knows, maybe it's a 21A, 21E. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe it's a 19E special. I have no idea. But can someone type into the live chat? Someone type into the live chat if you're fairly knowledgeable about Swedish beauties. What are some of the really, really cool features that started as early as the Class 20 in the 1940s with the Husqvarnas? And the Class 20s are going to be those darker green Husqvarna machines. They're not that minty colored Husqvarna that a lot of you just drool over. They're darker. They're almost like a forest green color. And even going all the way back to those early Class 20 Husqvarnas that started in the 1940s, the Husqvarnas have some really, really cool features unique to those models. If anyone knows what those features are, go ahead and type it into the chat so you can be a teacher and share your knowledge with the rest of us. Otherwise, I'll mention them once we get this totally unveiled so we can see what we have inside. And all in all, just to give feedback to Christopher, and I don't know if he packed this or whether he hired someone to pack it, like a UPS store or something like that. But all in all, he's done a very, very good job of protecting this Swedish beauty. The only thing I would recommend, and again, we're always looking to do things better. I recently posted pictures on Facebook of that New England Queen rotary machine that I just restored down at the paint shop. And one of the folks typed something like, "Scott, you're getting better and better and better." In other words, you continue to, I mean, you're always turning out beautiful work, but it's becoming more and more spectacular as you do it. That ties into what I refer to as our Kanai principle, constant and never-ending improvement. We're never content with how we're doing things. We're always trying to do it better. So whether it's packing machines or whether it's restoring, repairing, and optimizing sewing machines, I'm always looking at ways to try to make it even better. And even though it's probably better than any other restorer in the world right now with my processes, I'm still trying to make it even better. And that's true of packing too, like I said. So this could be a little bit thicker as far as the bubble wrap. Right now, when I'm pressing near what I believe is the faceplate area, I can feel the thread guide on top. I can feel the take-up arm, and I can feel other things kind of pushing through the real thin layer of bubble wrap and stretch wrap that's on here. Now, Chris did a very good job. All I'm suggesting is when you cocoon a machine like you've seen me do in videos, and if you didn't know it on this channel, if you go to a playlist that says how to pack a vintage sewing machine, you'll see me from start to finish literally packing a variety of different sewing machines. And what I always say is, once you cocoon a machine like this, if you push on the outside of that bubble wrap and stretch wrap, there's really three layers technically. There's first of all stretch wrap, then there's bubble wrap, then there's more stretch wrap, and then eventually there's packing tape that kind of anchors that all down into one unit. But as you push against the outside of that, you should not be able to feel metal pushing against your hand. You shouldn't be able to feel any of the stuff underneath there. It should be thick enough that it's created a barrier so that if that case in that machine take a really, really bad hit, it's not going to potentially bend or break a take-up arm. It's not going to damage the upper tension unit like is on the front of these Husqvarnas on this side over here. So just make sure a general rule with a machine like this, even though it's inside of that case, you want to have somewhere between 5 to 7 layers of bubble wrap along with the stretch wrap and the packing tape as well. So it creates just a wonderful protective fortress so that machine, if something catastrophic happens, that machine in all likelihood is going to survive without any damage. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Because all I'm trying to say is you can pack something and it can look okay, but if it takes a really bad hit, is it going to be enough? we hope for the best. We hope for the best, but we plan for the worst. So just a little bit of feedback there. It could be a little bit thicker, just a little bit thicker. My phone is going off. I want to make sure that one of the leaders isn't texting me and saying that I need to respond to something. Let me just check. Oh, this is an earlier text message from Emma saying that the music is not coming through, which is really disappointing because it's been doing it real well, and that I was muffled. Hopefully, now that I've shut the music off, I haven't been muffled at all. I hope that's the case, that I'm coming through nice and clear. Oh, good morning to Suzanne as well. Good morning to Suzanne. Good morning to Suzanne. I think I've greeted everybody else. And if I haven't, I know the leaders have done that. I'm so blessed with an incredible leadership team. All right, let's keep taking these layers off here and see what we find. I was looking out the workshop window real quick to see if it's still snowing. It looks like it stopped snowing already. And the ground was warm enough. There's really not anything that stuck to the ground, sadly. So it was snowing. It was beautiful. Sent a little video clip to Emma to show her that. But now there's no sign at all that it's been snowing. But maybe we'll get some more. We'll maybe get some more later. Now this is interesting. Look at this. Christopher has almost like a woolen type material wrapped around the machine as well underneath this stretch wrap. And you know what? That explains it. We don't have any bubble wrap. There's no bubble wrap around this Swedish Beauty. What Chris decided to do instead is he used some sort of a woolen, what is this stuff, you guys? What is this? I'm kind of pulling it a little bit right there. It almost looks like you'd make a sweater out of it, doesn't it? But this is what Chris decided to wrap the machine in, and then he went over the top of it with this really cool green stretch wrap. So there's no bubble wrap on this cocoon whatsoever. It's this woolen material type stuff. Yeah. See if I can get underneath this a little bit and then reveal that a little bit more. And again, I know it's common sense, but if you're using scissors to unpack a machine, just make sure you point those tips away from the machine so you don't accidentally slip and scratch it or damage something on the machine. Yeah, that's what all this is right here. I think I've seen movers. Movers will sometimes use blankets made out of this stuff too. I'm going to look at the chat real quick, see if anyone's described it. Nope, no one's typed anything in there. So you must be wondering too what it is, but it's like a woolen material. Like I said, sometimes I've seen movers use this sort of thing when they're padding furniture and when they're wrapping it around pictures and stuff like that. They try to keep it safe. There, you can really see it now. But again, it's not really that thick. I can push against here. I can feel the knobs. I can feel everything. So this is an option, but I would recommend if you're going to use something like this, go around it at least 3 to 5 times with bubble wrap and then stretch wrap all that down so that you've got a nice protective surface. Again, these Husqvarnas have a lot of plastic knobs on them. And right now, if this took a bad hit, those knobs would be history. They would be history without a doubt, because I can feel everything through this woolen type wrap material that Christopher put on it. And again, I'm not being critical of Christopher. I'm simply highlighting something so that others can learn from this live stream and say, I was thinking about using this all by itself. Based on what Scott said, I'm going to go ahead and add bubble wrap to the mix, just so I really, really make sure that that machine is going to be safe if a real bad situation happens. So just feedback, just feedback. So yeah, this is kind of pulling back now. You can kind of see it from the side. It's very interesting stuff. It's very interesting stuff. Yeah, Christine might be right. Christine might be right. Maybe it is a woolen type batting. You could use this in making a quilt or a blanket of sorts to cover up in the cold temperatures like Christine and I are getting right now. Christine has been actually colder in Canada with temperatures than we are in Wisconsin right now. I think she's been down almost in the negatives, or maybe she's been in the negatives. So yeah, if you made a blanket out of this stuff, it would be very, very warm. I think it would be really warm. But again, when I've seen furniture pads used by professional movers, it looks similar to this stuff. So maybe it is wool. I have no idea. I'll get closer to it so you can look at it. But I think Christine might be onto something. See, it's pretty thick. It's pretty thick stuff. So I totally understand why Christopher would use this. But again, I would couple it with bubble wrap, because I could, even now I can push against here and I can feel all of the plastic knobs and everything on this Swedish Beauty. So, but you know what? The machine didn't get cold. The machine definitely did not get cold. Because I'll bet you that this does have wool and other stuff in it. Yeah. Yeah. So you know what? It's kind of cool that people do things that are different, because I've never seen this material used before in packing, other than by professional movers like to pad furniture and stuff like that. So yeah, actually kind of a cool idea on Christopher's part. Oh, Christine is allergic to it. Michelle's never used wool batting either. Minus 31? What? Minus 31? That's very, very cold. Oh, you know what? Robin, it's so funny. It's so profoundly funny that you would say that, because as I was handling this, I also thought about, you guys, you know this, I think. If you're in a cold climate, or if you ever lived in a cold climate, they've got these really cool trucks that have these big containers that they pour insulation into, and then they blow it into your attic really quickly. They fill it up between all the joists and everything, and they can do an attic in just a short amount of time using this blow-in style fiberglass insulation. And it's so weird and funny that Robin would say that, hey, be careful, maybe there's fiberglass in there. because that's exactly, I didn't say it, but that's exactly what I was thinking. It reminded me of those trucks that have this in big bags, and they blow it in. Someone just texted me. They blow it in to these attics to insulate. Oh, Christine, did you hear the little beep beep? That's the notification tone that I have for Christine from Canada. I should have recognized it. Christine is saying the same thing that Robin did. Be careful, Scott. Be careful. There might be fiberglass in this stuff. You guys think I should, I mean, maybe it's too late now, but you think I should maybe put on some gloves? Should I put on some rubber gloves just in case? Because otherwise, fiberglass is glass, right? And you can get that into your skin. And then later, I'm going to be suffering because I didn't take necessary precautions. In healthcare, we call it universal precautions, usually with contagious diseases and stuff like that. But I'm not taking adequate precautions right now. Kind of like, remember that featherweight that arrived recently from Illinois that was just covered in corrosion and corrosive type junk all over it? And I didn't really put on gloves right away, did I? It took me a while. So maybe I should do that. Thank you to Christine and Robin and others that said, hey, there might be fiberglass in there. So I'm going to grab some gloves real quick. Give me a second, you guys. If I can get to the gloves. I don't know if I can get to the gloves. I'm going to try. Let's see here. Now, do any of you know if I do have fiberglass in my fingers now, how do you get it out? Can you just wash it off, or do I need to use sandpaper or some sort of a special process to get the fiberglass out of my fingers if there's some of that in there? Okay. Now we're sort of set. And if you're in an area where there's a Walmart, this is what I buy, and there's probably a lot better ones out there, but they're vinyl examination gloves. So I'm examining this Husqvarna right now, and a lot of you that are concerned about keeping me safe have pointed out something that really makes a lot of sense. And that is, that stuff could have fiberglass in it. So maybe too late, too little, but hopefully this will keep me safe. Okay. And, you know, the other thing about fiberglass too, I remember this from my dad. When he was insulating our attic, is he also wore a mask as well when he was working with fiberglass insulation. So maybe this is a good step with the gloves, but maybe I should also put a mask on as well, right? Maybe I should, just to be extra safe. And I've got two different types of masks. I've got a KN95 mask. And then I also have this mask that was made by a wonderful gal from Florida. And it wasn't Emma, it wasn't Madeline, it was another lady. And it's been a while, it might have been Virginia. Maybe two of these really cool masks that have sewing machines on them. And my phone just went off again, so I think someone else is sending me a text real quick telling me something about this stuff. Let me see who it is. Now I'm coughing. It's psychological. Now I'm coughing because all of a sudden I'm thinking, am I inhaling fiberglass dust or fibers or bleh, something. And now, now I'm starting to cough. You know, oh boy, who knew that working? You know, I'm going to contact Mike Rowe. I'm going to contact Mike Rowe that did dirtiest jobs and say, you ought to come to the workshop for a day. Not only can you get dirty, but we can also have life-threatening things that we could do together. You can inhale corrosion from a featherweight. You can breathe in fiberglass stuff from a machine out of New York. What fun! When can you come, Mike? When can you come? I don't think he'd respond. I think he might even call the police. He might call the police on me. You never know. What do we have? Oh, this last one was not about the live stream. It was a text message from Sunny. And all of you know Sunny. She's like a household name. It was a text from Sunny out in Pennsylvania telling me what her votes are on the contest, because Sunny is one of the judges. So she just cast her votes. Scott, I vote for E. I'm not going to say it. So I've got a text. Sunny only gave me the grand prize winner that she wants to pick, a vote for, that she wants to vote for. She didn't give me the second runner-up and the third runner-up. So give me 1 second. Give me 1 second here. Wait, more than a second. Give me a couple seconds. Hey, Sonny, comma, thanks for the vote for the grand prize winner, period. I also need your vote on the second runner-up and the third runner-up, comma, as well, period. If you're available right now, comma, please join the live stream. We're doing an unboxing from Bronx, New York. Period. Ha-ha! See, and I'm not making it up. I'm going to cover Sonny's phone number, but I actually did just type that. See that? Oh, wait, it's still, oh, Jiminy Crickets. I still had the mic on. It was still typing. And now it's Jiminy, oh, gee whiz. Technology. No wonder we're vintage people. Sonny's phone number. Okay, I got to delete all that. Oh, my gosh. I should have shut the microphone off first before I was talking about that. Oh, my goodness. Bronx, New York, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's the end of it, period. There we go. Send. Ha-ha! Yes. So now the mic is off, and I can cover Sonny's number and show you I sent the message. So isn't it fun? Isn't it fun, though, to be able to communicate with folks from all over the place? So what do you think? I should probably put my little mask on too, shouldn't I? I don't know. Maybe is that too much? Maybe I shouldn't put the mask on. Although I did start to cough. So Michelle is saying use the N95. I picked the wrong one. Doggone it. So use this one instead. And you guys remember I went down to Florida recently to do that work in appraising auction machines. And I was on the airplane, obviously. I didn't walk. I didn't ride my bicycle. This is the one that I wore because I think it was Emma or Madeline told me that this is a better mask. It protects you better. But I do have a scratchiness in my throat right now. It's kind of weird. Probably psychological, right? It's probably psychological. But at any rate, I'm going to put this one on. And hopefully you'll be able to understand me still, even with this thing on. So now I've got my mask on. I've got my gloves on. We're going to finish this unboxing and see if we can get a closer look at this Swedish beauty. So, yeah. All right. And thank you to all of you that offered that advice and those insights, because I'm a typical guy. I would just, do it anyway. And then later I'd be suffering with fiberglass in my hands or coughing and other things. So you guys looking out for me, I appreciate it very much. Okay. got to figure out how to get the rest of this off here. Angle this down just a little bit. Michelle, correct me if I'm wrong. Don't you have a healthcare background as well, don't you? Michelle is one of my leadership team members. I believe Michelle told me that she also has a background in healthcare, maybe as a nurse or something. I don't remember. But we have a number of health professionals that are in the live streams regularly. So when stuff like this comes up, with your experience, you're able to right away, offer some really, really helpful advice. That's where I say we learn from each other all the time. And sometimes it's relating to sewing machines. Sometimes it's relating to not exposing ourselves to something that's really dangerous. You know what I mean? Dangerous or potentially harmful. So, all right, I got to put the mask on, and then I got to put my pink glasses on at the same time. Pinkish red ones here. Respiratory therapy. So this stuff, you saying put on the better mask. Fiberglass is also potentially very hazardous from a respiratory standpoint. Stuff like this, you can breathe stuff in off of it, and it can be real harmful to you. I'm assuming that's right, isn't it? So that's why when my dad did the installation in the attic, he had like a respirator thing on, and he was kind of blowing it in there. And then he also had eye protection on. I don't think he had goggles on, but he had like eye protection. And the stuff, it's great for keeping your house warm and cool, but it's also potentially very hazardous too, isn't it? What we got here? This looks like a foot controller. I was just checking on the back of these Husqvarna foot controllers, and I've shown this in other videos as well in live streams. There's a data plate on the back of here. I'll kind of show it to you. And what it generally does is it gives you the specs on the foot controller, and then it also tells you which model, in most cases, it's most compatible with, because the ohms are going to vary, and a number of other factors of the foot controller are going to be different. You can have different resistors, different capacitors in it. So that's one of the things I always look at first is this the correct foot controller for this model? I can't see what model it is yet, so I don't know the answer to that. But if you happen to order a replacement on eBay or one of the other places, make sure that seller has shown a picture of that plate, because they're going to look all pretty much the same from the top. But the components on the inside, if we were to take the back of this off, the components on the inside are going to vary between the models. So this is saying an AB, and it's AB only, which is usually going to be for a Type 21 type machine. So I'll be curious to see if this turns out to be a Type 21. If not, I may have to reach out to Christopher and recommend that we use a different foot controller. I've got additional foot controllers in the workshop that we could substitute for this one, so it doesn't potentially damage the motor or the machine. Now, during this live stream, I got a text from Christine from Canada. I got a text from Sunny as well about the contest. During a live stream, if anyone wants to send me a text, to offer advice, or if you're not able to hear me, the sound is muffled or whatever, or for whatever reason, one of the leaders, if you would go ahead and type my cell phone number into the live chat, type my cell phone number into the live chat, and that way anyone at all can shoot me a message offering helpful information or insights or whatever. Maybe they don't want to post it in the live chat for whatever reason. They can always send a text, and I'll leave my phone on just like I did now so that I can get that message. But if someone could type that in, that would be great. I think Emma and Christine know my cell phone number, so just type it in the chat when you ladies have a chance, if you would, please. Now, this is a bizarre. This is definitely not original wiring on this machine. This is not original wiring, and that's a red flag. The Husqvarnas did not come with a polarized plug, which is what this is. It's actually a split polarized plug. It's an older style polarized plug. So this machine has been rewired by someone, which I'm going to have to be even more careful in assessing it. Now, I don't know if this black tape, I'm not familiar with a black painter's tape. I hope this is not masking tape or something like that they put right over the Viking Husqvarna logo here on the front. Chris has this black tape all over the place on the machine. See it across the back as well. Again, when you're dealing with a patina on a machine, you've got to be really, really careful what type of tape, even what type of painter's tape you use against the machine finish, because some of the tapes have a higher acid content in them, and they can actually interact with the patina and cause damage to that machine surface. So when we try to remove this, I'm hoping we don't end up taking part of that decal off. That would be a horrible, horrible thing, wouldn't it? That would be a horrible thing. Oh, and thank you to excuse me, thank you to Emma. Thank you to Emma for putting that number in there. My phone just went off again, you guys. I apologize. Shut off the microphone. This is from Sunny again. Let me just send a quick little message. Thank you, Sunny, for providing your second runner-up and your third runner-up. Period. Would you please copy and paste all of this and send it directly to me via email, comma, that way I can share it with the other judges after all the votes have been cast. Period. Thanks so much. Period. Hope your chemo went well. And if you're feeling it up to, up to it, comma, pop on the live stream and say hello. Everyone would love to see you. Okay. There we go. All right, let me get the rest of this off. And you heard me say, just now, if Sunny is feeling up to it, she shared with me in a note yesterday she went through chemo. She's been battling cancer. She's been battling cancer for some time now. And so, keep Sunny in thought and prayer, if you would, as she goes through this this long-term battle with cancer, and certainly others in our family as well. You know, Christine up in Canada, who's battling a real bad flu bug or some other horrible illness leading up to Christmas so close. We got to take care of each other, kind of like you've taken care of me during this live stream to keep me safe, assuming that this stuff has fiberglass in it so that I don't get sick or hurt from this stuff. So we take care of each other. It's what a family does. So okay. I'm going to set this. I'm going to set this stuff to the side now, and then see if I can take my mask off just so that I can be understood a little bit better. So I'll set this to the side real quick. I don't know what that other signal was. Those messages I've already gotten. Anyway, okay. Set that to the side. Oh, interesting. Interesting. So this is not. This machine has. I'm going to refer to this machine affectionately as a Frankenstein machine, and I don't. I'll explain to Christopher. I don't mean that in any offense. I don't mean that in any insulting way. But I can see a number of changes that have been made to this machine because I just looked at the data plate on the back. My first hunch was, because of this upper tension unit, that it was a 21 series E, a 21E machine, or a Type 21. It's neither one of those. It's not a Type 20. It's not a Type 21. It's not a 21E, which means that this is not the correct foot controller for this machine. This is the incorrect foot controller for this machine. Also, based on the data plate on the back, this upper tension has also been replaced because the type of machine that it is on the back would have a different upper tension unit than this one. So, also the cord is not original either. So I don't know where Christopher got this machine, but someone that likes tinkering has been tinkering on this machine. Yeah, that's not, the black tape is not coming off like painter's tape. It's coming off like masking tape. Really, really a sticky, hard grip on it. So, oh, hello to Becky. Hello to Becky. And Becky's been here before. I know she has. So I'm not going to say, hey, you're brand new, because Becky's been with us before. So that's cool. All right. All right. I'm going to move the camera closer. I'm going to try to get some of this other tape off. I'm hoping I don't damage the decal on this machine. I'll do a little bit of a gentle pull on it. And maybe some of you have been exposed to other types of painter's tape that has a real light release threshold. You can put it on, it sticks well, but then you can peel it off and it doesn't bite into the patina. This stuff feels like it's biting into the patina. And I could try, you know what I could do to reduce the likelihood of damage to this? You know what I could do? I can get some of that stuff, that undo stuff. These are two things that I sometimes use to get sticky stuff off of machines. I use this stuff here, the undo stuff, and then I also use this Goo Gone stuff as well. Both of them are designed to reduce that adhesion point when something is stuck on a surface, and that will lower the likelihood that we're going to cause damage to the patina on Chris's machine. I'm just concerned about this. I've never seen, maybe they have it, they probably do, but I've never seen a black painter's tape before. And the way when I pulled that little piece off on the right side, it didn't release like a painter's tape. As I was working on the packing process for Trish's 12K from the 1800s that I just finished presenting on this channel, I use a low acid blue painter's tape, and it's very safe for patina surfaces. And when you put it on and you go, oh, I didn't want it there, you can peel it off very, very easily. It doesn't leave any residue on the patina, and it releases very, very nicely. It doesn't like bite into the patina like this black stuff is. So maybe I'll use a little bit of this, and that way it'll loosen the bite and we can remove it without causing damage to the patina. I think that's probably what we'll do. And I'm not incredibly well versed about the difference between both of them. Have similar effects as far as what they do to a sticky type glue type surface like a tape, but I'm not sure what the major difference is between the undo and the Goo Gone. Maybe it's just the branding name. Does anyone know? Does anyone know the major difference between the undo and the Goo Gone? Because they seem like they're going to do some of the same things in getting this tape off without it damaging the branding, the beautiful branding mark that's right on the front arm of this machine. I'm going to look at the chat, see if you guys have any insights, because I use these interchangeably, and maybe I shouldn't be doing that. Maybe I should be using one and not the other, or maybe I should be using this one first and that one second, or maybe using this one first and that one second. This is where I say, always a student, sometimes a teacher. So if anyone has insights, let me know. I'll look at the chat real quick. Who's going to make chili? Emma's going to make chili? Let's all show up at Emma's place down in Florida. We have to find out what time dinner is, because I love a good chili, as long as we have crackers to go with it. We need crackers too. Yeah, Becky is over in Minnesota. Becky's in Minnesota. So Emma is saying the undo releases the tape. That would make sense. But the Goo Gone also says goo and adhesive remover. So they're both designed to remove adhesives. In other words, that sticky stuff on the surface, it kind of goes into it basically impregnates, to use a fancy word, it impregnates the tape and gets underneath where that stickiness is, and it causes it to soften and to release its bond. And that's what both of these do. And then this one in particular, the Goo Gone stuff on the left, says specifically it's surface safe. So we know that this is going to be neutral enough that it's not going to cause damage to the patina surface. It's going to be safe for the painted surface, and presumably it's going to be safe for most surfaces. It's not going to cause it to fade. It's not going to cause it to discolor. It's not going to cause it to do anything weird. So both of these seem to be saying that they're going to do some of the same things to try to get this tape off safely, so that if Christopher in Bronx, New York used the wrong tape, we're going to try to lessen or eliminate the damage that would result otherwise if I just grab this tape and just go. It's very possible, if the clear coat is thinner on the machine because of the age of the machine, because of how it's been used and maintained and what it's been exposed to, if the clear coat is real thin, then it could actually rip that decal right off, because you've got the clear coat layer, you've got the decal, and then you have the painted surface underneath that. So as clear coat becomes thinner on our vintage sewing machines, we've got to be even more careful on what we do to that surface. Even good things that we do to the surface, like using certain cleaners or polishes. If that clear coat is real thin, even using the right type of things, it could damage or discolor that decal. And on a lot of the decals, when you've gone too far, because that decal will go from a colorized look to a silver look. If you've ever seen decals that are real silver, kind of like that machine I just showed you that I restored, that New England Queen Rotary. You saw the before pictures on Facebook. Those decals had a silver look to them. That's because they had been compromised. Someone had tried to clean that machine or polish that machine or buff that machine, whatever it was. And they went past the clear coat, and then they damaged the coating on the decal. And then they actually got to the under layer of that decal, which is a silver type color, silver in appearance. So anyway, I'll look at the chat again real quick and see what other insights we might have. Becky's going to go in the kitchen. Maybe Becky's going to make chili too. I didn't know what Becky's going to do in the kitchen. Emma talked about chili. Now I've got chili on my mind. I've got chili on my mind now. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's do this. Let's use some of the Goo Gone to go over this this tape, and then I'll try peeling it back real carefully. And there's a lot of, you can use a cloth, you could use a Q-tip swab. I also use cotton balls as well. That way I can saturate this cotton ball even more. This is child-proof, which means I probably won't be able to get it open. Now, I think I had one of these open already. I bet you see I grabbed the wrong one. This one is not open yet. Let me grab the other one so I don't have to peel that little tab off. Now this one doesn't look like it's open either. Okay, well, we'll start with a new one then. And that's okay. We change the camera angle again so you can kind of see. This is the tape that we're going to be targeting right here. Because again, it doesn't look like a traditional painter's tape. It looks like a type of masking tape. And masking tape is something you never want to use on your sewing machine. You could use it on the outside of the container that you're shipping, possibly, but you don't want to use it on the patina anywhere. It's pretty impressive. I was able to peel that back even with these rubber gloves on, which I can take off now, I would think, because we moved that that batting that might have fiberglass in it away. So I'm just going to put some of this on, kind of get this nice and soaked with this Goo Gone, and start touching that tape and kind of saturating that tape a little bit to try to break that bond on the other side so we can hopefully get this off without damaging that decal. And again, the Goo Gone versus the Undo. This is the Undo again over here. The Goo Gone versus the Undo. You can't see that. We change that a little bit. The Goo Gone versus the Undo. The Undo doesn't, at least on the front, it doesn't say that it's surface safe. The Goo Gone does. So that's why I'm going with this stuff first, with the hope that it's not going to damage the decal, cause it to discolor or anything like that. And I'm just kind of pressing that liquid into that tape so it permeates the tape, it gets underneath where the stickum is, and it starts to release that grip. Since it's right over this beautiful Viking Husqvarna decal, other than holding the light assembly closed, that's the only reason that Christopher would have put this on. But I wish he had used a different type of tape, because this stuff looks like it's really, really nasty. And again, with this being surface safe, we shouldn't have any issue with it, this interacting with the clear coat or the decal and causing damage to that. Get it nice and wet. I'm not as concerned about this and this over here. I'm still going to hit it with this stuff. You can kind of see where this this tape does have a porousness to it. It is porous because as I touch that, you can see this is darker where that Goo Gone has now hit that tape and it's starting to soak in there to release that bond. We wouldn't have to do this if this were a traditional painter's tape, but this has the feeling, the look, and when I pulled that little tiny piece off, it was right down here. I pulled a tiny little piece off. It has the stickum consistency of a masking tape, which is a horrible, horrible thing to use on any surface where it can compromise what's underneath. It doesn't release like painter's tape. Do the same thing. We also want, the faceplate is kind of a real prominent point of the machine, and we don't want that to get compromised either or to get damaged. So we're going to try to hit that with the Goo Gone as well. Now what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to take my gloves off now, because Goo Gone is not, it's not a noxious, toxic type thing. If I get some of it on my hands, I'm not going to get hurt in any way, as far as I know. Then again, we'll see those commercials 10 years from now. If you were using Goo Gone, glue and adhesive remover, and you've developed monkeypox or bungee cord or something like that, you might be entitled to a large cash settlement. Contact our law firm now. Who knows? Maybe that'll happen. I hope not, but you never know. All right, so now we're going to go after this right here and see if we can begin to peel that back. I'm hoping we can. I wish you could feel this with your own fingers. It is biting, biting with a vengeance into that decaled area on this machine, even with the Goo Gone on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some Q-tip swabs real quick. And as I'm trying to work this down, I'm going to be hitting it with a Goo Gone from the top as well. I've done that with other machines where they have those awful sew and vac type stickers, the metallic ones that they'll usually put right on the front of the machine. And sometimes just soaking it from the top isn't enough. So then what I do is I get a Q-tip swab soaked with that stuff, and I'm rubbing against the surface of the machine to release that adhesive as I'm pulling that tape or pulling that sew and vac type sticker off, so that it releases even easier and doesn't damage the surface. Let me grab some Q-tips real quick. So I'm going to do this now. I'm going to grab some of this Goo Gone. And you know what? Since I already hit it with the top of that, let me see if I can dip this in, and we'll start to pull this down, see if we can get this off. So just take your Q-tip swab and dip it into the adhesive remover solution. Get it nice and wet. I'm going to actually do both sides. So we've got a two-edge Q-tip that we can begin to work this sticker down. Or not sticker, excuse me, tape. We can work this tape down. Oh, that is nasty stuff. Folks, we hit it with the Goo Gone. I soaked this area with this Goo Gone stuff that's supposed to loosen the adhesive and cause that adhesive to, basically break free. This stuff is just, I'm pulling it out with my hand. It is biting. It is biting into the surface of this Swedish beauty. This is nasty stuff. Nasty stuff. Oh my gosh. So now I'm trying to work it. What I'm doing is I'm going right above the tape line as I'm working it down, and I'm hitting it with this Goo Gone to try to break that adhesion. See how I'm doing that? I'm kind of working it back and forth so that it's kind of soaking underneath the edge of that tape. And then just gently pulling it down as we go. Now here, I'm just going to show you real quick. If we get really, really close, right here on this eye for Viking, look on the bottom of that eye right there. Let me move this stuff out of the way so I can get the camera closer. Throw my gloves away. I don't think I need them anymore right now. Right on the bottom of this eye, you can see where part of that color has been removed. Now, that may have been like that when that tape was applied, but that's a characteristic trait of using the wrong tape. The clear coat gets thin on the surface of the machine on the front because you're touching the surface of the machine very, very often. And so there's no clear coat. The clear coat is like the armor for the machine to protect the decals and to protect the paint. That's what clear coat does, is it protects. It fortifies that surface so that the decals and the paint are protected. And then it also gives you obviously a very, very nice, bright, glossy finish. But from a practical standpoint, it protects the decal. That decal has now been compromised. Right here, I'm just going to touch it very, very gently with this little stick. Right down here on the bottom of that eye, you'll see where the color is actually gone. Now, let's hope, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the color's not gone. Maybe what happened is some of that black tape has actually stuck on that surface. So what we're going to do, once we get this tape pulled down away from this decal, I'm going to gently rub over this with that Goo Gone, which is surface safe. It's surface safe. And maybe that's just a residue of the tape on that eye. Let's hope that that's the case. Let's hope that that's just residue from us hitting it from the top and really saturating it to break that adhesive bond. And when we lightly go over this surface after I get this pulled all the way down, Let's hope that that rubs right off. That might be the case. I hope. So again, just continue to work this across that bonding surface right there so we can get it to try to break free. There you can actually see some of the adhesion right there trying to hang on. It kind of shows up as a white. You'll see it on this edge over there. We're just gently rubbing with this Goo-Gone, sorry. We're just rubbing and getting that kind of soaking underneath that adhesion surface so we can try to work this free without damaging that decal. See that white showing up right there right now? See that right there? That white that's presenting there, that's the adhesive. That's the adhesive actually biting in right there. Angle this down a little bit. That's actually the adhesive right there. So we're going to go after that adhesive with this Goo-Gone, just slowly but surely trying to break that free. And I'm pulling down just gently, but not abruptly. You want to pull down gently as you're letting that Goo-Gone dissolve and eat away at that adhesive. So you're pulling down at a rate that's consistent with this Goo-Gone breaking that adhesive free. You don't want to pull down quicker, otherwise it's going to damage the surface. See that again? You can see that white? Maybe you can see it more from this angle. That white that's showing up there right now is the actual adhesive from this tape that's trying to hold on to that surface. I'm trying to look over my shoulder at the laptop. Yep, you can see it. That's actually like a glue. That's like a glue on this tape that is trying to attack this Swedish beauty. And we're going to fight right back and say, no, you're not. Not on our watch. Not on our watch. You're not going to hurt this Swedish beauty. No. No. I'm going to switch sides now with this other side that's even damper. Continue to pull down gently. We need to get this all the way free of that decal. That's really our big concern. Pull down a little bit more over here. Starting to get clear of that N over here now. And we've got the Husqvarna branding mark just below it. You need to get that off as well. Notice how patient I'm being. I could be really abrupt and just try to rip it off. But that's what's going to cause damage to Christopher's machine. And even though, I could easily say, well, Christopher, you did this. That's not the way I treat my customers. I treat my customers like family, and I want to protect them, even if they've done something that could cause damage. We're going to try to avert that damage. Remember, that tape was all the way over. So we've gotten it down a significant distance already. We just got to get it down a little bit further. And we're not out of the woods then, because then we have to get it off of the rest of this painted surface and underneath on the bottom. I'm going to give these actually, I'll go with a new Q-tip and put some more of that Goo-Gone on there so we can let it kind of drip and soak underneath that adhesion. So again, just take your Q-tip and kind of dip it in there, get it nice and wet. We'll do that to both sides. Get that back underneath there. And again, your pull down pressure is very, very gentle. You'll actually feel as that tape is releasing because of this Goo-Gone, you'll actually feel it sliding down. It'll slide down because that adhesion, there's nothing to bite on there anymore to hold it in place. Because that Goo-Gone basically dissolves it, doesn't it? Basically dissolves it and breaks that bond so that Swedish beauty isn't hurt, isn't compromised. This is awful tape. Oh my gosh, please, let this be a learning lesson. Choose your tapes if you want to anchor things down so the faceplate doesn't pop open or whatever your motivation is. Choose your tape very, very carefully. And again, even the painter's tape stuff is not equal. There's different types of painter's tape. Slow and methodical. Slow and methodical. Okay, so we have it off of the painted surface, but now we have it still attached to the light screen that you can pull down normally, but the tape goes all the way around. Oh my goodness. This is going to be a job, you guys. I don't think I'm going to get all of this done in this live stream because this black, nasty masking tape from, I was going to say from hell, and I guess I just did. This is tape from hell. We've gotten it off of this surface now, but now we have it wrapped all the way around the back of the machine. And there is also a branding decal on the rear of the machine too. If I turn it all the way around, you can see right here. This is the other side of the machine right here, where we have a beautiful badge mark of Viking on the back of here. And this is covered in that black tape as well. So I'm going to have to work this all the way down. And then it could also damage potentially this light that can pull down to change out the bulb is chrome plated. So this stuff could also potentially damage the chrome as well. So I'll show you the back of the machine now. It's not a Type 21. It's not a 21E. I'm going to show you the data plate. And if someone would be kind enough to type in the live chat, what type of machine are we looking at here that has the wrong foot controller? Someone would type that in the chat. That would be great. Just so we have it as a permanent record. Because I do have chat replay on here. So someone that watches this later as a video, instead of being a part of the actual live stream, they'll be able to read all of our chat comments, all the things that you've been sharing about your chili. And they're going to be saying the same thing. What time is dinner? What time is dinner? So yeah, Emma's right. It's a CL21A. And the foot controller that is married with this machine right now is not the correct one. There actually is a foot controller specifically earmarked for the 21 series A models. So I'll have to look at the specs on this foot controller, see whether or not it has a close enough tolerance as far as how those resistors and capacitors are going to interact with the motor that's in here. Because as you can see down here, this is a 1.5 amp motor. When you use the wrong foot controller, I talk about this all the time, the foot controller is the gateway for the sewing machine power. When you plug that power cord in, the power is going to go through the foot controller and then be fed to the motor. So if you don't have the correct foot controller, it could either damage the motor, it could cause the motor to spike too high as far as the rate of the motor running and how it's running, or it could cause the motor to underperform. It could cause the motor to basically not reach its peak potential from a power standpoint. That's why the Husqvarna people are very specific about putting those data plates on the back of the foot controllers so that you match the foot controller and it's fully compatible with the motor, so you get the best possible performance. So when you choose to just grab a Swedish booty foot controller and assume that it's going to be fully compatible with the motor, you might get lucky or you might not get lucky. And then you've got a machine that's not going to be performing at its peak. So at any rate, out of courtesy to all of you, because we've been running now almost 2.5 hours. And when we're getting together as a family, it's like having a nice family gathering every time. Time passes really quick, but I would be less than a gracious, kind host if I tried to run this live stream and get all of this black tape off. That's going to take way, way too much time. So we're going to wrap this up now because we don't have the correct foot controller and I don't know what else is going on with this wiring having been replaced. Again, this is not the original plug that a Husqvarna would have come with. It's not going to be like this. I'm reluctant to even plug this machine in right now on this live stream and test it because I don't want to damage it. So I'm going to spin it around. We'll take a look at this machine from the front and admire that beautiful badge mark that we've revealed now. I'm also a little bit curious if I go gently over that eye. I go gently over this eye. Is that stickum or is that damage? Let's see. I think it's going to be residue from the tape because I'm getting some of it coming back onto the Q-tip. If I kind of point it like that, you can see a little bit of that blackness on there. But again, I don't know how thick this clear coat is, so I don't want to go against it too much because then I might actually take the color out. I'll work on this a little bit more. It looks like it's a combination of sticky residue, but also I think some of the color is gone as well on the bottom of that eye. You can kind of see that in the shot. So I'll work on this. I'll do the best I can to preserve it. But again, when you use a nasty, awful tape like this on a painted surface, especially if the clear coat has been wearing down, you all of a sudden are exposing that beautiful decal and certainly the painted surface underneath it to all of those elements. And, sometimes I can do some hand touch up, but again, this stuff is preventable, isn't it? It's like I say, choosing your packing materials carefully, choosing your tapes carefully, and making sure you're not using tapes that are going to cause damage to your machine. It's takes a little bit more time sometimes, but it can save you a lot of headache in the end. So you can only imagine how long it took me as you were watching me carefully work this piece of tape free here to expose the branding mark. How much more time is it going to take me to get this off and that off, and then all the tape on the back of the machine as well? And that's typically time that I will give to the customer. I don't charge them for it, but depending on how long this takes me, I might have to charge Christopher a little bit more because of the extra effort to get this nasty, awful tape from hell. And if one of the moderators wants to throw me into a timeout for saying hell, they can do that. That's their right. But this is tape from hell, you guys. It really is. It's awful, awful tape, unless you're just taping a box shut or you're doing something like on the outside of the tote to secure it for shipping. This stuff would be fine, but not on the sewing machine. So that's it. We're going to wrap it up now. I appreciate everybody's attention, your contributions. Thank you to the moderating team as well for making everyone feel welcome, for sharing your knowledge and your passion with especially new folks that are coming as well, and certainly those that have returned. But I hope you have a great rest of the weekend. I'm going to work on a number of machines over the weekend. Yes, I work on the weekends too, because I'm a one-person operation. And I'm also going to work on finishing up the packing of that 12K that belongs to Trish from Virginia. And most of you that watch things on Facebook and on YouTube, you've seen all of those things about that machine already. The one that started in Alex Askarov's workshop in England, and it suffered a horrible fall. And then I had to do a number of repairs and restoration to that machine. That is finally done, and it's finally going to get shipped back to Trish in Virginia. And she is, you want to talk about a kid on Christmas morning. She is so excited about the prospect of that reaching her buyer before Christmas so that she can sit down and begin to enjoy that machine again. And now that the base and everything has been properly repaired, because that glue had dried up and let loose, she's going to be able to carry it by the handle confidently, knowing that that's not going to crash to the ground again. So that's the magic of the workshop. And thank you for all of you being a part of that. All right. God bless. Take care. And you may not be able to hear it. I don't know why it's being goofy today, but I'm going to put on some Christmas music. So if you hear nothing, know that I'm enjoying Christmas music on this end at least, because I can hear it just fine. All right. Take care, everybody. And thank you again to the moderators for helping to keep things managed so well during the live stream. Count me in on the chili. Count me in on the chili. Yes, please, 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 please. All right. Take care, everybody. God bless.